Hello, I am Tarık Toros. Welcome to What's Happening in Turkey. This week in Turkey, the contradictions could not have been sharper. On one hand, a pregnant teacher taken into custody and forced to give birth in handcuffs, despite laws explicitly protecting her. On the other, the president's son-in-law, celebrated as the country's #1 taxpayer. Meanwhile, coalition partners are at odds over a suspicious assassination tale Parliament is trying to look busy with justice reform. And the nation is running out of water. August in Turkey looked less like a summer holiday and more like a season of relentless political theater. Let's get started. An assassination tale shakes the ruling alliance. Political tensions in Turkey have been rising since March, when Ekrem İmamoğlu, mayor of Istanbul and President Erdoğan's main rival, was abruptly arrested. That arrest sparked outrage at home and abroad. Now, 5 months later, coalition politics are cracking further. Devlet Bahçeli, leader of the far-right Nationalist Movement Party and Erdoğan's crucial partner in parliament, has been demanding that indictments against opposition figures be rushed through the courts. Last week, the mayor of Beyoğlu, one of Istanbul's most strategic districts, was arrested. But the real drama came when Sabah newspaper, owned by Erdoğan's family, reported that a mafia boss close to Bahçeli had been plotting an assassination against a witness in the İmamoğlu case. The story was sensational but flimsy, no evidence, strong denials. After 2 days, the paper quietly pulled back. Bahçeli, however, was furious. Without naming Erdoğan, he lashed out, "No one can set the direction or the limits for the MHP." For now, the story has gone quiet. But the alleged mafia boss remains in custody. The cracks in the ruling alliance, however, are now visible to everyone. Birth in handcuffs. While political elites fight, ordinary citizens face a very different reality. Turkey's penal code clearly states pregnant women cannot be detained. Yet since the 2016 state of emergency, that protection has been ignored many times. The most shocking example came this week. Merve Zayım, a teacher and mother, was arrested while 8.5 months pregnant. Her charges: working at a school closed by decree and using a mobile messaging app called Baylok, an app that Turkish prosecutors have branded as proof of terrorism. But in 2023, the European Court of Human Rights ruled in Yalçınkaya versus Turkey that Baylok cannot, on its own, be treated as criminal evidence. In other words, even without her pregnancy, her arrest was unlawful under international law. Despite protests from lawyers and human rights defenders, Merve was taken to hospital in handcuffs to deliver her baby. She gave birth to a healthy boy. Only after public outrage did the court release her. 2 days later. This is not just one woman's tragedy. It's a case study in how Turkey's justice system grinds down its citizens, breaking even its own laws. The president's son-in-law tops the tax list. While ordinary citizens struggle, the government released its annual list of top-income taxpayers. In first place, Selçuk Bayraktar, Erdoğan's son-in-law and the country's most famous defense contractor, along with his brother. The symbolism was striking. In a country facing record inflation, a collapsing currency, and deepening inequality, the richest 10% hold 70% of national wealth. The president's own family emerged as the state's model taxpayer. Meanwhile, Turkey is also facing a looming water crisis. Major cities like Istanbul and Ankara may run dry within months. Decades of underinvestment in infrastructure have left the country vulnerable not only to droughts but also to earthquakes and wildfires. The picture is bleak. Ordinary people crushed by economic hardship, citizens jailed for political reasons, while those closest to power prosper and are celebrated. I am Tarık Toros. You've been watching What's Happening in Turkey. See you next week.